So, tonight, Canvas for Equality, absolute goddesses from this town that we're so proud to have with us tonight. Before I hand over to them, I just want to say, I can't say this loud enough, I'm really flattered and grateful for all the praise and feedback that's been directed at me this weekend, but I just can't emphasise enough that POW is a team. It works because there's incredible women around me, and Lindsay, Darren, Francesca, Hannah, Katie and Danielle, thank you, and Lisa signing over there, Alex and Mia, our designers, how amazing are our posters, the Els and the POW youth crew, Jeremy and Richard, and I wanted to just quickly read a message I got from one of our volunteers, Jilly. She said, "What a fabulous event. It makes me cry. This town is so special. Thanks to you and the team for all your hard work to make these events happen." Thank you to Jilly and all our volunteers. We can't wait to do real life events and have you back soon. So, our big International Women's Day headliners. The ever powerful Canvas for Equality. They're POW alumni now, having done 2 incredible nights for us as part of Margate Festival with People Dem Collective. We adore all of them here in Thanet, and it seems the world does too, as they are flying into cyberspheres with their social commentary talents, balanced intersectional feminist stance, and real-time, real-talk discussions around topical feminist issues. I'm a big fan, you're going to be too. It's over to Canvas for Equality. Happy International Women's Day, ladies.
Hello and welcome to our panel discussion. We're Canvas for Equality, and today we are going to be rounding up the POW International Women's Day Festival for this weekend. Our event is called Every Day is a Protest, because for us every day is a protest, and I'm sure it is for you too. A little bit about us. Canvas for Equality is a group of 8 young women. We're all from the Kent and South East area, grown up in and around Thanet and Canterbury, and we're based across the UK now, as we're all studying and working, and some of us have flown the nest, some of us haven't, but we're everywhere, and we're doing lots of different things at the moment, and we're very happy to be here today. So if we want to do a little bit of introducing ourselves, Ellie, can you tell us a bit about yourself? How old are you? Where are you from? And what do you do?
Hello, I'm Ellie Els. I'm 24. I'm a poet and performer born and bred in Thanet and living with my parents at the minute in lockdown. That's me.
I'm just going with who's next on my thing. Marianne?
I'm Marianne. I am a student studying in London. I also do music, and yeah, that's me. I'm 20.
And Felicia?
Hello, I'm Felicia. I'm 20 as well, and born and raised in Thanet, fashion student in Manchester at the moment, and I do a bit of art, poetry and music, basically just word vomiting into creative forms. That's what I do.
And Anna?
Hi, I'm Anna. I'm 19. I'm studying marketing at Portsmouth Uni. I'm born in Canterbury, and I guess like the other girls, I do a bit of sewing, arty stuff.
And who's up next? I just slide the thing. Khadija?
Hi, I'm Khadija. I'm 20 and I'm studying in London currently for chemistry.
And Danya?
Hi, I'm Danya. I'm 18 and I'm studying medicine in Edinburgh, very far away from Canterbury.
Oh, and last but definitely not least, Lauren.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm 19. I'm from Canterbury, but studying biomed in Norwich. I also write a bit of poetry as well, and very glad to be here today.
Lovely. Well, yeah, that's a little bit about us individually. As you can tell, we're all from all over. We're doing lots of different things, but sorry, just.
Alethea, have you introduced yourself?
Oh yeah, no, I haven't introduced myself. I'm Alethea. I am 18. I'm living and studying in London, but I'm from Canterbury and I paint things. So let's just jump. Should we jump in with the questions?
Yeah.
Let's get this show on the road. Okay. I'm just gonna do a little timer really quick because I don't want to.
And also, just wanted to say, like, if anyone watching wants to pop questions in the chat, we're gonna answer those at the end.
Yeah.
Sorry. So if there's anything that we touch on that you want to know a little bit more about, or if you want to contribute or ask us anything, say it when we're speaking about it, and then we'll go back to them right at the end of our discussion. Okay, so the first question is to everybody. Can you sum up why every day is a protest for you? How do you exercise your right to protest every day, and is that possible? Starting off with Lauren.
Well, I think every day, like, life is full of so many standards, and we shouldn't really have to live up to them.
Okay, fabulous. Next up is Ellie.
Yeah, literally agree with Lauren. Every day is a protest because life's still really hard for a lot of people, and yeah, we can't really give up till everyone is liberated, really.
And Felicia, why is it?
I wrote my answer that we were talking about yesterday.
Oh yeah, write it
on a little train ticket, so I could remember.
You should sell those.
I literally put it by my window so I didn't forget. So every day's a protest. I said because we weren't made to live in a capitalist, restrictive society. Yeah, I don't think anyone's really naturally set up to survive in this world. So that's why we're all continuing to fight against it.
What a great answer. Couldn't have said it better myself. Dania?
Oh, every day is a protest because I also wrote down my answer similar to you guys. Yeah, I think every day is a protest because people feel threatened by our presence in spaces where they don't think we should be. If you're Black or if you're queer, like some people here, I think people it's just to them it feels unnatural for you to be rising to the top, but it shouldn't, and that's why every day is a protest.
Exactly. And Marianne?
For me, I think every day is a protest, just trying to live outside of the seemingly restrictive normality of society. Even just trying to get out of that, even in a small way, feels like a protest, and that's why I've got to keep fighting, so it doesn't feel like such a feat to kind of live every day, not trying to be in the kind of normality of what is put upon us. Yeah.
I guess in a sense, paving a way for anything takes its toll, but you know, positive progress and all that. Khadija?
Every day is a protest because unfortunately there's still some ignorant people out there, and you just never know when someone's going to come out with a off the cuff thought or a feeling that kind of goes against what you believe in and goes against your identity. So yeah, you have to protest against that a lot more often than you'd hope. But yeah.
Always got to have your guard up. Some people continue to baffle me every day. But, yeah, well, that is all for the first question. So I hope that explains a little bit about why we're...
Maybe ask Anna.
Oh my gosh, Anna.
It's okay.
You're on the end of my screen and I can't see your face. Oh my
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I think every day is a protest because not every day you're going to wake up and feel at the toppest of your tops, and you might bump into someone who is there or isn't there, and you're constantly coming across different people who are at different parts in their life, who are at different feelings or stages in their life. So you can't predict what's going to happen.
I'm so sorry, Anna. About that.
It's okay. Do you want to go, Alethea? What's your protest?
Yeah.
It is a what was it? Sorry, I completely lost the thing.
Why is every day a protest?
Every day is a protest because, yeah, I'm just reiterating what everybody said. I don't think we're made to exist in the world as it is at the moment, and we won't stop fighting until it's a world that accepts us for who we are. I think being anybody that isn't a straight white old man, you know, the world as it is at the moment is not made for you. So yeah, that's why every day is a protest. And yeah.
Until we get a hippie utopia.
Until we get a hippie utopia. That's all we want in life at the end of the day. Like, I'm not gonna lie, we're not asking for much. Okay, so the second question of our panel today is, what does protest mean to you? A little bit similar to the first question, but what is a protest? And in the modern day, is that actively going to a protest, or can you protest every day yourself in small ways? How would you describe a protest? Sorry, starting off with Ellie.
Well, I think we've spoken a lot in the group about kind of collective protest versus individual protest. So I think for me, living with like a diagnosed mental health condition, it's really hard. I have OCD, so every day can be a struggle. I had a bit of a meltdown today before this video. So I think picking myself up and getting on with my day is kind of a protest against the way my brain's wired. But on like obviously a more collective and bigger scale, I think the lovely thing about protest is when we join together, because it can be quite lonely protesting on your own. And you might not even be aware you're doing it if you're doing it on your own. You might just think that struggle belongs to you, but actually the struggle belongs to so many people. And it's a lot lighter when we can share it. So yeah.
That was very beautiful, Ellie. I think you should write that down in case you didn't know she was a poet. Right. Next person, Marianne. What does a protest mean to you?
I think personally, like for me, a protest means kind of just when you finally decide that you're not going to just stand for things that as a child and growing up, personally, I felt like conditioned to be complicit in, or it was things that I felt like I could never speak out on because I would feel alone. And it's like, okay, well, even though I am, or I have been in the past, especially growing up in a like white dominated space in Kent, even though I was normally the only person speaking up, it's still, once you get that going, once you kind of decide like internally that you're not gonna kind of put up with those things, it makes every day a protest because it's not easy, and it makes you kind of, you seem like the killjoy, but I think it makes your life, it makes you kind of more accepting, and you can kind of accept yourself, and other people start to see who you really are. And then I think collectively a protest is, it's like people coming together, kind of also standing with you. And I think as you start to speak out, you start to find people that are going to stand with you. And that's the most like beautiful thing about it, is like you felt really alone, especially growing up. But then when you start to meet people that are going to protest with you, not even in like the physical sense, but just in like a day-to-day, that's like a collective kind of thing. That's like my take on it. So yeah.
Couldn't put it better myself. Felicia.
I don't know if we were meant to answer it with the first question about like or are we going to do that now? You know, it's about our personal.
The past one is the next question.
Oh, okay. I won't speak about that now then.
The most is like a protest that shaped you, but what, like, yeah, personally, what a protest means to you, that is this question. So yeah, no, you can.
Okay. I think. Oh, I don't want to be. Well, actually, no, I don't think it's depressing. I think just existing is a protest because
you're allowed to say that.
Yeah, I think that, as I said before, I don't, as much as we try to like mold into how society wants us to be, like you were saying, Ellie, like you had a bit of a meltdown before, like, do you know what I mean? That's okay. I think sometimes we beat ourselves up thinking like, I need to constantly have like a good brain. I need to constantly be like on the ball, like wake up at 7 a.m, go to bed at 10, have everything how I need it to be. But you're allowed to have those things that make you different. But actually, I don't know who was saying it, maybe you guys, like everyone's going through it. So there is a collective sense of actually, maybe let's all just take a step back and realize that this way of living might be a bit harmful towards us than we actually realize, and it's good to Do you know what I mean? It's okay to cry. It's okay to call people out that are doing bad things. I don't know if that made any sense, but yeah.
No, it made a lot of sense.
Especially in this day and age with everything going on, nobody's okay. That's one thing I've learned. If they're completely fine, they're lying, you know. Nobody is ever, well, I mean, it is possible to be 100% okay. But, I mean, not like, you know, I'm sure I've been 100% okay at some point, but yeah, no. Very well said. Anna?
I think a protest means to me is breaking down like these norms which are put in place that no one really knows why they were put in place or who put them in place or why there's this kind of thing, like Felicity was saying, you know, like this thing of if you wake up at 6 a.m. you're living your best life, whereas for some people waking up a bit later and working till later is like much better for them. I think like a protest is, you know, it's doing something that people might go, oh, that's a bit strange, you know, like wearing your pajamas outside, and it's such a trivial protest.
Literally,
it's something that can make such a difference to, you know, like that's a protest. A protest can be on the largest scale or on the smallest scale, but I think sometimes like a protest for me is just like, you know, going to the local co-op with my Crocs on, and that's okay, and not being like, oh my god, what are people going to think of me? And yeah, I guess that's my take on a protest.
Thank you.
I love that.
I love that also. Khadija?
Kind of going off what other people have said, I think what a protest means to me is kind of coming into your individuality and owning it. I think you have to be comfortable with who you are in order to then protest for what you believe in. And I think growing up, that takes a lot of time, because especially growing up in Kent, in a white, majority white area, I kind of just wanted to fit in. You kind of just want to fit in and kind of go along with what other people think and do. And, you know, that was my life for the longest time. But I think, that's the one side of it, your own personal protests kind of coming into who you are. But at the same time, I think protests are a beautiful way to be able to look at something through someone else's eyes and to see what their struggles are and to try and understand and help in any way possible. Because I think, you know, if we live in a world where people don't empathize with one another, it's a scary place. But
yeah, no, completely. Also, like, I think you get to a certain age, especially growing up where we've all grown up, and you realize that trying to conform and trying to fit in with everybody else, it doesn't fill that big hole inside of you. It doesn't make you feel any better. And like, I think, as you said, growing up and coming of age even is, I think for me, like, is when you get to a point where you realize that it's not making you happy trying to be like everyone else, and what will actually make you happy in the long run is being you unapologetically. Felicia? Yes.
No, I was just going to say what you're saying about individuality, I've never even thought about before, but that is probably like, thinking of yourself is the biggest protest, because doing everything that everyone doesn't, well, not everyone, but as a society, the norms that we've had before, thinking for yourself and thinking actually like that's not okay, that is going against what people have told you to think. So thinking for yourself is important.
I mean, learning that you don't have to trust everything that you're told or believe everything that you're told, because the people that are telling you it, take a look at them, they're not very, you know.
No, I literally have a post up here, it says seek to subvert. It's beautiful, it's from a little zine, and seek to subvert everything.
Who was up next? Sorry, I've just had a
Danya's got a hand up.
Danya.
Sorry, I was just going to say, like, I definitely relate to that with the individuality, because what I was going to say as a protest is like when you start living in line with your values, because they're not necessarily what everyone else thinks. I feel like, it's something that I only learned like recently, because I feel like I was like trying to, I guess conformity is such a, everyone's going to say it, but I guess it's relevant to everything, but like trying to conform to other people's values, and like it just doesn't sit right with you, and the act of protest is like breaking free from that and being like, no, this is what I want, this is what I want to do, like knowing that and owning that and then doing it. I feel like it's almost like protest means to like getting the success that you deserve despite everything that's put against you. Like I feel like there's always those people who just like want you It's like a Rex Orange County song, which seems stupid to like refer to. It's like people just want to see you stressed out because they don't actually want to see you like succeed. And protesting is succeeding despite that, or succeeding because of it, because it pushed you there. And I also keep thinking.
Oh, sorry. I thought you.
No, I'm finished. I was just going to reference another song because I don't know why I relate everything to songs these days. But like, there's a Childish Gambino lyric, and he's like, "The game ain't easy. We both deserve a little bit of time out." Like, it isn't easy. Like, protesting is about that, and like saying like and knowing when you need that time out.
I was going to say, like, the importance of owning it. Like, I think that what you were saying, Daniel, that's so important. Protest is not just being like doing it and then be like, oh, okay, sorry, like, I didn't mean to do that. It's being like, yeah, I meant to do that. I wanted to do that. And I'm proud that I did that.
Yeah, and it's not easy. I think it's like, that's why it's like it's not one straight line. It's not like a linear thing, because you can own something and then it will make you feel really, really uncomfortable.
Yes.
And then you go back on yourself. But that's fine, because you still have to appreciate that you did that. But it's just not, you're not going to be there and then stay there. So it's like, you know.
I think if you haven't had somebody disagreeing with you, if you haven't had somebody telling you that you're wrong, or telling you that you don't deserve to be occupying a certain space that you're clearly occupying unapologetically, then it isn't a protest. If you're not having some form of backlash from anybody, then it's not working, because you know, people don't, or you know, unless you make people listen to you. That's protest is for me, I think not a last form of resort, but
no, in a way, yeah, I agree.
Last form of resort when nobody will listen. So yeah. Anyway, I feel like somebody hasn't spoken.
Lauren.
Yeah.
I think that kind of how I see it is it's not existing just to make other people comfortable. Like it's important it's bringing up issues that people don't think about because it doesn't affect them necessarily. But we don't exist just to be comfortable. Like, you need to bring up these uncomfortable things, and speaking out for people who don't necessarily have a voice, but then also going the other way and like speaking up for yourself. And kind of, it can be something so tiny, but if it makes your life better without hurting anyone else, like, that's so important. And I think that you got to kind of look at it in both ways, and like the individual and then in the wider scheme of things. And like, if you have a platform like we do, then you kind of have to use it to help others. Otherwise, what's the point of having it?
100%. Of head nodding. Everyone like,
so good.
Everything. I'm just slightly speechless because couldn't say it better myself, as I've said about 5 times in the last time. Keeping an eye on time.
Oh,
Let
damn,
me question.
It's okay, don't worry, Felicia. I was just gonna say, like, you know, it's like when you open the door to somewhere, it's like you don't shut it behind you. Like, you need to leave it open for everyone else to succeed with you.
Oh yes, yes.
That is adorable.
Get that in a song. Get that lyric.
Yeah, that'll be Maz next song lyric.
Yeah, or Ellie next poem.
For a quality EP, and it will literally just be Daniel's lyrics and the rest of us doing
no.
PR.
I'm no songwriter.
Daniel's the main character.
Daniel's our main character.
Oh, you know what is a protest though? Acting like the main character in your own life.
Yeah, it is.
You got main character energy.
Yeah, that you deserve to be there. You're not just living in everyone else's world. Well, you are, but you're deserving of being here, basically.
Not living in people's shadows.
That was put a lot better than I.
That's it. The shadows.
Fabulous. Also, just a quick question. Do you guys know how to access the chat so that we can see them at the end?
Yeah, I can see the chat, but I don't think we have any questions yet.
Okay, cool. So, what was a protest that has shaped you, personal or political, or a collective protest? So, like we say, personal protest is in something that you do purely for you in your own life, or a collective or political. Collective and political basically are the same thing, but something that you do for a wider cause with a numerous group of people. And this, I'd like to open up to the audience. Anyone wants to have a little get their words in? But yeah, we I might just start off by saying, as a collective, we are all here because of the Black Lives Matter protests within the summer. I don't want to say the Black Lives Matter movement because that's been going on since 2013. There's nothing new, but
even before
2013, like it's been going on for years and years. So, but with the murder of George Floyd, we felt like we had to do something bigger than we, well, more than just posting a black square on Instagram. And us coming together was the manifestation of all our trauma and needing to get that out. So yeah, for us as a collective, we exist as an extended form of a protest and a vehicle for change, I should hope. So yeah, anyway, going off of that, Marianne, or Lauren's got a hand up. Lauren, sorry. I keep having to slide across these.
I just wanted to follow on from like us existing as a collective. I think that even that in itself is a protest, a form of protest, because it is a platform. We have a platform of really unique young women, and that is something that some people necessarily wouldn't want to see. And if we can exist like this in this space, then we're protesting kind of all the years where this wouldn't have been possible, I think. And then that's kind of like a personal protest, but also goes into the political as well, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to follow on from that? Or state their own?
I'm gonna go. I didn't hear.
Sorry, no, I can't see everyone all at the same time because of the.
Have you got it on gallery view?
I did, but I need to have the question. Let me close the question. I'll put it on gallery view.
Maz, do you want to go?
We really chose the worst person to do this, didn't we? With my history
key skills,
grandma. But yeah.
Yeah, I'll follow on from Lauren. Yeah, I think that I said yesterday when we were kind of speaking about this answer, but just the fact that we are able to be a collective is something that I probably would not have believed prior to this, like last year. Like, I just don't think it would have been something that I thought would have been able to happen. And I think since we came together and since, you know, the whole world was so moved, like, and just, words don't really describe how I personally felt when it came to the death of George Floyd, but it obviously has created something amazing in the fact that we're able to come together and be a collective and continue to fight for change. And so that's a big protest that has affected us all. And I think there's a change that I feel like it is more of a safe space to feel like we can speak about these issues, where I didn't think that there was space to do that before. And that is important and something to kind of make sure that we continue, and that, you know, the people after us feel like can also speak on stuff, because it's important. And I just didn't think that that would be possible. Even in 2019, I wouldn't have believed you. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say on the back of what Lauren said.
Maz, I really want to hear you talk about your personal, like with your hair. I just love it.
Oh, what, my personal protest?
Yeah, I just think it's beautiful.
Yesterday when we were doing a run through, we did one personal and one political protest. So if everyone,
because it inspires me.
Yeah, Marianne, tell us about a personal protest that you.
Well, I guess I'm protesting right now then.
Hey.
Because literally my hair battle has been like an inner. I'm still protesting. It's not, you know, solved. I'm still struggling with it. But kind of growing up with Afro hair in a very white space where I didn't feel like it was beautiful. I felt ugly, and that was something that I felt day to day from going to school until about the year 11 or year 12, where I kind of did start to wear my hair out. And even though that seems like such a very small thing to somebody who maybe doesn't have hair that looks different to the kind of Eurocentric standards, it can be a very big thing, especially in a space where you're made to feel like a spectacle or ugly or this or that. So wearing my hair out in an afro definitely is a protest. that I still have to force myself to do. I was literally saying to Ella today that I still feel like sometimes it's a constant battle of not feeling completely like happy with how it looks, but actually that's not because of my thoughts, that's just because of what's been projected onto me. And that's like definitely a big personal process that I'm continuing to have like throughout my life. And I'm sure that a lot of people like a lot of us can relate to that, because a lot of us have afro hair as well. So yeah.
No, completely what you're saying about it being a reflection on what has been put on us in like our entire lives. When I think about the fact that you're saying that you began to be able to feel like you could express yourself the way that you have been born naturally in year 12 and 13, and then how many years ago was that? What, like 2-3 years ago?
Yeah, like 20.
You cannot expect an entire lifetime of prejudice that has been projected onto you by the world around you to dismantle itself in a matter of years, when it's been absolutely forced down you, and it still continues to be. It's like it's something that you have to come to terms with doing yourself, but it doesn't make it easy when the entire world doesn't show natural Black beauty as a beauty norm or a beauty standard in today's society. So I think one thing I've learned is allowing yourself to, you don't need to question whether you love yourself, question your self-worth based on whether you have a day when you feel like, oh, you know what, today I really want to straighten my hair, I really wish I could do this, I really wish I could do that. That's not a reflection of you and your strength as a person. It's a reflection on everything around you, and it's not going to disappear in a couple of years. But yeah, sorry, Felicia, you were going to say, oh no, were you? Personal protest. Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say as well, from what Maz was saying, like, that's why I think you can feel hard on yourself sometimes. Like, am I doing enough? Like, am I actually exercising my right to protest? But like, actually sometimes, do you know, like every time you say that, Maz, I'm like, wow, like actually just existing as a Black or like woman of color is a protest. And like, you just like queer woman, like being a woman is such a protest, because if you're being authentically yourself, like that is sometimes so offensive to some people. Do you mean like that is, to some people, that just pisses them off. So yeah, that's what I said back of that. But a personal protest for me as well is like similar to the whole being a woman thing. I think as well, just being able to say no. I'm learning to say no in situations that do not benefit me or my mental, and with body hair, that sort of thing, being a woman. My parents have never ever been like, oh, Blissy, you should shave, but people have been like, oh, like you're a girl, like your legs are a bit hairy, aren't they? And it's just like, no, I think just allowing anywhere on my body to look however I want. I'm just learning, just do whatever makes me feel happy, pretty much. And that's my vibe.
Dania, or Anna, sorry. Every time someone, I'm like,
I don't know. Don't see anyone going, and you're like, I mean, I'll go.
I'll tell someone, and then someone else. Anyway, right. Yeah, no, Anna.
Go on, Anna.
Anna, I'm opening the floor to you.
I think again, like I think the Black Lives Matter protest in the summer shaped everyone, because we came about that. But I think, you know, for me, I'm a white person. I've never experienced discrimination because of my skin color, and I'm so grateful and lucky that is a thing. And I think because you don't experience it, you know, I'm not thinking about it on the daily, because it's a weird thing to say, but I think that the protest really shaped me, because it made me realize that, you know what, you need to be thinking about this on the daily. Like, you are so lucky that you're not, you know, walking down the street and going, oh my God, or like experiencing some of the things that, you know, people are experiencing. And I think it made me realize my privilege and realize that I really need to start speaking up and chatting about this. You know, when I first joined this collective, I was thinking, oh God, you know, like I'm a white person, you know, and I'm joining some sort of like Canvas for Equality. And I had a panic. I was thinking, you know, I had a panic, and then I was like, you know what, it's just as important to show everyone that you need to speak up whether you're being affected by it or not. Like, that is so important. And normalize chatting about it, and normalize if you're in a group full of white people and someone says something, you're like, no, that's not okay. Just because there's not someone who you're discriminating against in the room doesn't mean that someone shouldn't speak up about it. So that was something that really shaped me, was that protest. It was a real turning point for me to go, you know what, I'm not having this. I'm not being this silent person anymore, because, you know, my friends are being discriminated against, and that affects me deep enough, whether it was, even if it isn't me being discriminated against. So yeah.
Thanks so much for that, Anna. Really, yeah, positive allyship is something that we all need a little bit more of day to day. And you are such an integral part of our group.
It's that you. It's that you care. Like, empathy is the most important and powerful thing. You don't need to experience something to still care. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, back to that empathy sort of thing.
Exactly. Moving on, Dania, tell us a little bit about past protest that has meant something to you. Well, that's not the exact word.
Okay. No, I feel
protest that has shaped you.
Okay. I'd say, I guess there's a personal protest, like on the opposite side, like covering my hair, because it was quite a big deal. I just sort of decided one day, I make a lot of my decisions just waking up one day and doing them. So like, I chose which uni to go to. I just woke up and I was like, we're going to go to Edinburgh, and I stuck with it. But like, I just woke up one day and I was like, I want to wear a scarf, and I did. And it helped me connect a lot more with like my culture and my beliefs. But it was quite difficult in the sense that like people will always view you differently when you make such a drastic change. And it really helped solidify my identity, because I was questioned all the time. So then it helped me really realize where my values are, what my belief systems are. And then that really shaped me. And then I guess in a collective sense, I guess I really relate everything to wanting to relate back to my culture. So I'm Sudanese, and like, I'm not sure if you saw on the Instagram, but me and Khadija made some videos about it. And I think those protests really shaped me, because like the idea of protesting and like the principle of like fighting for your liberties and your rights is so ingrained in Sudanese culture, because we've had to do it for so long. And then that history has been passed down to me through my parents, and like my mum's family especially is extremely like politically active and have had to like go into like political exile. So then that sort of, sorry, this is quite grandiose, but like that sort of background and backup has made me like really fire charged to just like protest wherever I can, and to make sure that I'm really honoring my ancestors in that.
Oh, I love that. That was really beautiful. Yeah.
Khadija, as Daniel's fabulous partner for the video that she just spoke about, let's go to you. Tell us about a protest that shaped you, personal or political, can be ongoing, or something in the past that maybe is carried on.
Okay, so I guess like in terms of a personal protest, objectively, it's not particularly a protest. So, but it can sometimes feel like a protest, in that being a Black woman doing a STEM subject and hopefully trying to get a career in a STEM subject. It feels like a protest, because you see very little people who look like you throughout. So in my university, for example, I've never had, or not that I know of, I've never had a Black lecturer, male or female. And then even so, when you go one step down and look at the lecture hall, there's very few Black women specifically in the lecture hall. And so when you don't see someone that looks like you in a field that you want to hopefully go in, it does feel very alienating, and almost as if you're going against the grain. It feels like, I'm not meant to do this. I was not born to do this. I should go and do something else. And so I think it's a problem with representation that definitely needs to change, but it does feel like a protest day in, day out, going to your lecture halls, going to your lectures and everything. But yeah, and I guess in terms of collective protest, I think I can't agree more with everyone here in what they've said about Canvas for Equality and how it came about. I think as well, the response that Canvas for Equality got, all the positive responses so quickly as well, was definitely very warming to see. I think it shows that you're not alone in the things that you stand up for, as I think Marianne said earlier. And I think that it's kind of a propelling factor to encourage you and other people and the people around you to kind of stand for what you believe in, what they believe in, and to have those conversations more openly. And kind of it's no longer this very serious conversation that people try and steer away from. It's something that you can have between your friends, conversations about race, for example, and kind of just talk about it, but because it's not such a scary idea, it's not a scary thing. But yeah,
that's great, thank you so much. Ellie.
Hello. I couldn't agree more with what everyone's saying. I'd say this is quite a curveball, but a protest that shaped to me was the 2019 Colombian protests, which I was accidentally there for. But I just like one of the most actually life-changing moments actually for me was my friend. I was talking to my friend Gabo about the riots, the protests, and Gabo is Colombian. And he like showed me a leaflet that was being distributed for the manifestation, and it was like, I was like, what? Because it was literally they shut the country down, and it was like gay groups marching alongside black groups, indigenous groups, and like electricians and like street vendors had their own trade unions, and the whole country was just so unionized. And even though all the unions didn't maybe see eye to eye, they all could be absolutely effed over by the government. So despite the differences between all the trade unions, that they grouped together and shut the city down. Now, unfortunately, I mean, it's still ongoing, and due to coronavirus, they haven't. I mean, it's really bad over there, basically. But I was really inspired by that protest and the idea of trade unions, which kind of died out in the UK. Like we're not really unionized as a country, and I feel that if we were unionized or more collective like this were existing, then when you do want to protest or riot, you can all kind of, what's the word, get together very quickly. So that was really impactful for me, because I realized, oh my god, like we don't have trade unions really. Like I should be in a bar, like we should have trade unions basically. And secondly, a personal protest was probably, I was just thinking about this now, was obviously being with my first girlfriend and her parents, like just not accepting it and being really homophobic, and choosing to stay with that person, despite the fact you knew it was causing like them extreme pain, and like a separation from their family. That was probably the biggest personal protest I've been a part of. And yeah, it just sucks, but I guess love wins in the end, really. Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Who haven't I spoken to? I keep forgetting.
So I just wanted to say we've got 10 minutes left.
Yeah, we do have 10 minutes left, so we should probably hop on to the next question.
Lauren, am I making up that you didn't speak?
Oh no, I did. I think it's just Alethea who hasn't said anything, actually.
You, Alethea.
I'll really quickly.
You've got a few minutes if you want to.
Okay.
It'll be 10 too.
Super quickly. Personal protest for me. I was thinking about this morning. I was thinking, growing up in the age of Instagram influencers being a thing and kind of being a thing, and that being my entire teenage years, for me, Lauren and Marianne going out on our own with a big fat camera and a bunch of hair products into the woods every weekend and doing proper photo shoots, so that I was amazing with our hair out. We would lie on the ground, put leaves in our hair. Our hair was the focus of these, and having people comment on my Instagram, and this might sound like fragile and stupid, but I'm sick of pretending that Instagram and social media is not a huge part of everyone's lives in the modern day, because it is. You know, we're not going to pretend that it isn't. Having that and feeling accepted and feeling beautiful in the same way that I felt like I was never able to be unless I posted a selfie with my straight hair, having people that I never met before message me and say your hair is amazing. I don't seek that validation from other people anymore, but back then it meant the world to me. And I think that us three, as my absolute sisters for life, the three of us loving the hell out of ourselves and being unapologetic about it online, that for me was a protest that I think we did together, and it meant a lot. So yeah,
I love that.
Yeah.
And it's so important because as well, social media is so one-sided.
yeah. Anyway, like timing wise, we really need to go on to the next question, because like we've all got a lot to say about the next question, and also in terms of the questions in the chat box, we are going to come to them in about 5 minutes or so. So quick fire round, as much as I would love it not to be a quick fire round and we can talk for ages about this, but in your ideal world, what would no longer be an everyday protest? Starting off with Khadija.
You're on the spot.
Sorry.
What did I say yesterday? I think being in a world where you can live judgment free and people will just, let you live your life without questioning the things that you stand for no reason, without trying to understand why you stand for them in the first place. I think that would be something in my ideal world.
Yeah, I don't mind jumping in. I would say, something I would like to be eradicated is having to expect empathy for people. It should just be a given. I think in the future, if you didn't have to expect empathy or beg for it sometimes,
Should I go? I'm going to say this one because I think everyone else is going to say what I was going to say. But on the topic of International Women's Day, I think the whole concept of what is and what should be feminine and femininity, just rejecting that whole concept and just being able to exist however you identify and wear what you want and look how you want without being questioned by anybody is something that I wish was not a protest in itself, personally and just for everybody. That's my one.
I was going to go off the back of that because mine sort of links.
Just say quickly, Alethea, you're still muted, by the way. Carry on, Felicia.
I know I am. I completely my entire computer just decided to freeze. I'm back in the room. Felicia, off you go.
Going off what you said, Maz, but basically sort of around the idea of femininity, just that there aren't expectations around you coming into the world and what gender you are, how you identify, that you can just live authentically as yourself and that be okay. Because I just get really irritated when women get bashed for living their lives the same way a man does. Like if I want to give my opinion, or if I just don't like the concept that a woman's like too much or too loud or too annoying or they're too sexual. Like I just want to be able to live life however you want, and that be accepted, basically.
Yeah, I was saying yesterday, the amount of stuff that men get away with purely because they have the confidence to do it. If women all over the place had the amount of nerve and audacity to do some of the stuff, we would be not only very rich but very famous.
But it's not even.
Some of these guys come up with stupid stuff, but they've been taught to have this amount of confidence that it gets sold, and they're all millionaires anyway.
No, I was going to say, or even you're doing the same thing, but you're being bashed for it. That's what I was going to say.
Sorry. Anyway, we need to speed through because Q&A time in a minute. But Dania.
I'd say just being self-assured, and taking up space, like Felicia said, that's what I want, to not be a protest, and also not to have to fight against structural things that nobody don't benefit anyone apart from straight white men.
Yeah. Okay. I guess structures to prevent them. Anyway, sorry, that's unnecessary. Carry on. Who is next?
I was going to say, I guess a protest that I hope to get rid of is not being able to have discussions about things. I think I know it sounds a bit weird, but I think it's so important to have discussions about things. You know, at the end of the day, people aren't going to feel the same way, but I think being able to have a discussion about it, have a chat, and understand both points of views, I think is so important, and I think that should be normalised. To have those kind of discussions, I think that's really important.
Yeah, things only get dismantled when you talk about them, and anyway, Lauren, what in your ideal world, what will we never have to protest for ever again?
Well, I think everything that everyone said. I just want to none of us have to like put so much energy into it, but I think that one thing is that our right to protest, we shouldn't have to be protesting that. Like, people should be able to protest without being killed, without being like arrested. Like, it is our human right, and we should be able to exercise that. So I think that would be my main thing, like being able to protest.
Really good point, and that's 100%. I agree with that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm okay. In the future, I want reparations. I want money. I want everything that is owed to us, and I want to be in a world where people recognise not only that differences exist, but that they hinder opportunities in people's lives. And there's no point recognising that prejudice exists without recognising that it affects people's lives forever. And it affects entire communities. It affects the entire world every single day. And we need to stop acting like everybody's on a level starting playing field, because we're not. And in the future, I want whoever's got the power to put everyone on the same level. I want them to do that.
That's why community is so important, and collectiveness. So I think creating and uplifting the communities that already exist is important.
In abolition, they use the phrase, I think, like caring communities. Like, the idea of having caring communities, I think, is really beautiful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Wait, Ellie, have you said yours?
Did I say?
I don't know if you did. I think you were the last.
Expect empathy. We don't have to expect empathy, it's just a given.
We've got 2 questions.
Yeah, shall we hop on to the questions really quickly?
Should we choose one? And then we have 5 minutes.
Well, some of them are quite one of them.
I think we can do
I guess we can do, like, if one of us just decides to answer them, and then it's easy. Yeah.
Or we can do them on our Instagram, and you can all go follow our Instagram if we answer them on our Instagram.
Oh yeah, because we've got some
Canvas for Equality.
Oh, I feel like, I don't know.
Oh, no, let's really quickly, Daniel.
Let's go through
Somebody wanted to say to you, they love what you said about opening the door for others and going through it first. What do you think we can all do to keep the door open for everybody?
I was actually having a think about this because I saw the question pop up. I think it's like acknowledging the struggles that you had to get there, because you want to be transparent with anyone who wants to do the same thing. So, like, I am a Black woman in medical school, and like acknowledging that is difficult. You don't really, like Khadija was saying, you don't really see yourself like anywhere or as any role models, and then like informing people of that, being transparent, and then also but encouraging people to then do that. So encouraging more Black women, or like encouraging who you want to, like more BME and women. To be fair, women's there's lots of women doctors, but like encouraging them to do it and like get into it, and like dismantling the systems which means that they can't do it. So like having more access programs, for example, would be one way to do that.
When you reach somewhere, like being able to go back to the people who might be at the same point that you once were, and try and encourage them and give them give them the tools that you didn't have.
Definitely.
Amazing. Ellie?
Oh no, I was just going to say off the back of that as well, that potentially not expecting someone else to ask you back for somewhere, but you yourself, you can do that for people. You don't need to wait for some fancy person to say, you know, can you come and speak in this lecture theatre because you once went to this school? You can go down to your local like community centre, library, anywhere really, hop on the internet, and you can reach out to people. So you don't even need to wait for someone to do it.
100%.
Yes.
This new generation and like social media has kind of created a space where it seems more possible to do these things. You don't need to wait for the rich man to give you money so that you can do them. You just do it.
Felicia?
No, because I was going to say I know we've got like 2 minutes quickly. A guy once said to me that it's really irritating when girls like talk on their stories about things because they think they're
Who the hell
influencers.
said that?
And in that moment, I just thought, no. Like, we all have many platforms, so use your platform. That doesn't matter if it's 2 people, 200, like, speak. And this
Well,
is
if
a
it's
guy on a
annoying
dating
them,
app.
keep
So
doing it.
delete your dating app. Anyway, we've got 2 minutes.
Should we go through for the question about how to sustain your mental health when every day is a protest? Quickly, like a quick answer from someone if they want.
I'll just say, allow yourself, realize within yourself you might be feeling low. It's not because the magical feeling low fairies just come along. Some of us on this earth have the burden of having our entire existences discussed and debated 24/7 online, in person, wherever we go. There's a discussion about it. Somebody saying whether you deserve to be murdered for walking across the street half of the time. So that's not going to not take its toll. I think recognizing that your existence and your right to be is being discussed and questioned, and is it right or wrong, acknowledging that that's going to take its toll on you, acknowledging that that's going on around you, and you don't owe it to anybody to feel 100%.
And ultimately, like, giving yourself a break as well.
Yeah,
like, it's okay to have a day off.
Taking a down day.
Day off the social media, delete it, especially when it's going round and round, just delete it for a while.
I was gonna say, like, that quote, like the one that everyone knows, like, it's not a race, it's a marathon kind of thing. So like, just knowing that, like, you're in it for the long haul, like, it's okay. You don't have to fight every battle. You can. Definitely. It's okay to pick the battles.
We got 1 minute left, but
I think the last question is a really nice one to end on. So, what small thing can we all do, as every day is a protest? If anyone wants to answer that one.
We're gonna get cut off. Sorry, it's
somebody from
just speak out. I'd say.
And being yourself as well.
Stand up for the person who's not in the room. That is my biggest thing. Even though they're not in the room, please stand up for them.
And also, like, just discuss everything. Like, don't be afraid to discuss.
What was the question?
Small thing you can do for an everyday protest.
We're going to take these questions. We're going to put them on our Instagram. So a little bit of
taking a picture
time.
You have
Ellie and Felicia have a wonderful thing coming up next week.
Oh yes. So really quickly before we go, if you want to see more of us, to see all of the performances we've put together this week for the festival, go onto Instagram at Canvas for Equality. Me and Felicia will be doing a live stream performance from the Tom Farm on Mother's Day, 14th of March. And it's gonna be really exciting. It's called it's called Fantastic, and it's been run by Meg of Things with Words. So check out Things with Words for more information, and Tom Thumb Theatre for more information.
And thank you, Pal, for today.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much,
Pal. Happy International Women's Day.
Yes.
Happy Day, everyone.
Yeah, big love.
Have a wonderful evening.